If you ever find yourself stuck in the middle of the sea, I'll sail the world to find you. If you ever find yourself lost in the dark and you can't see, I'll be the light to guide you. Find out what we're made of when we are called to help our friends in need. You can count on me like 1, 2, 3, I'll be there. And I know when I need it, I can count on you like 4, 3, 2, and you'll be there. 'Cause that's what friends are supposed to do, oh yeah. Ooh, ooh, yeah, yeah. If you're tossing and you're turning and you just can't fall asleep, I'll sing a song beside you. And if you ever forget how much you really mean to me, every day I will remind you. Oh, find out what we're made of when we are called to help our friends in need. You can count on me like 1, 2, 3, I'll be there. And I know when I need it, I can count on you like 4, 3, 2, and you'll be there.
All right, if you could please make it to your seats and quiet down, we are going to get started. Thank you very much. The main part of our assembly today is going to be an alumni speaker who's come back to share with you. But before we get to that, it is Dude Be Nice week, and the student execs from Dude Be Nice would like to let you know everything that's going on. So I'm going to turn things over to them, and then I'll be back in a minute.
Hello everyone. Today starts Dude Be Nice Week. We have a ton of stuff planned and I'm really excited for our focus week this year. I have been working with my 10 executives for the whole winter and spring to bring this week to you all, and we're really excited for you all to participate in Dude Be Nice. There are 2 execs for each day, and I'll let them explain the things for each of their days and all the activities for each of their days. Dude Be Nice is all about being kind, so all of our activities are focused in one way or another on kindness. I want to thank all the adults that have helped us get this up and running. Thank you, Ms. T, Mrs. Bartron, and Mr. Schaefer for all of your help with organization and approval for activities. Another thing to note is that if you ordered a Dude Be Nice shirt, you can pick it up in the library during lunch or conference. Please bring the $15 per shirt that you ordered, and there will be someone there to help you, either one of the executives or Ms. T. If you ordered a shirt, you can wear it on Friday with in-dress code bottoms. I'm now going to pass this on to my executives to tell you about what we're going to do this week.
Hi everyone, I'm Sophia.
And I'm David.
And we're the execs for Make Someone Happy Monday. There will be sticky notes on 2nd and 3rd floor sprays for you to fill out a positive message and then stick up on the walls.
And I'm here to talk about the meaningful message form that was sent out. So if you send someone a message and would like to give it to them personally, you can come to our table at lunch. And if you don't want to send it to them or give it to them individually, then we will be able to get them to those people. So just come see our table at lunch if you have any questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey everyone, I'm Dallas.
And I'm Kara.
And we are the execs running Tuesday, Take Care of the World Tuesday of Dude Be Nice Week. So we're going to be hosting a little friendly competition between the grades. We're going to have a coin weighing contest. So during lunch tomorrow in Fleck, we will have 4 different bowls set up, 1 for each grade. And everyone is highly encouraged to bring in coins, extra spare change they have lying around their house to put them in the bowls. The bowl weighing the most at the end of the day, that class will win. And all of the money raised will be donated to the Puppy Mill Project, which is a charity focused around helping to end puppy mills. So please bring in money if you can. Thank you.
Hi guys, I'm Armin, and Maya's not here today, but we're running Wednesday. So our theme is Good Deed Wednesday, and we will have a donation box at the top of Sprague, and we're donating to an organization called Along the Way. Shout out to Tegan Jacket, she helped us bring this idea together. So various stuff that you have to donate will be sent out in an email later on. But for a more school-related thing, we are doing a Dude Be Nice poster making project in Fleck after school on Wednesday. And there will be food, and we hope to see you all there. And there'll be an email. Okay, bye.
Hi everyone, I'm Kat.
And I'm Haley.
And we're doing Team Thursday of Dude Be Nice Week. We have a few things going on that day. The first thing is that you can wear a team shirt, whether that be a sports team or like the musical Footloose shirt, anything team related shirt with in-dress code bottoms. The second thing is at lunch, we will be making posters for upcoming sporting events. There is a boys lacrosse game and baseball game on Monday, May 2nd, and a girls lacrosse game on Tuesday, May 3rd. And those will both be home, so we'll be making posters for those in Fleck during lunch at the lunch tables near the Wallace Room. And then after school, there will be team building games on back campus. They will be going on until 4, and there'll be things from spike ball to like a 3-legged race. It'll be really fun. And make sure to check out the Dude Be Nice Instagram that day, where Haley and I will be doing a takeover and highlighting some teams around STEM. And also make sure to congratulate teams on their seasons as well that day. Thank you.
Hey everyone, I'm Cassidy.
And I'm Leah.
So we're the execs in charge of Friday, which is the closing of Dude Be Nice Week. So we will be doing 2 superlative style awards this year. So we have 2 most likely categories: most likely to commit a random act of kindness and most likely to spread joy wherever they go. These will be awarded to 2 individuals in each grade as well as faculty members.
And we'll be sending out the form after assembly, and you can nominate 1 person from each grade and faculty members. And the form will close Wednesday at the end of the day and will be announced on our closing assembly.
Thank you.
I'm here to talk on behalf of lower school. So along with myself, my executives are Lauren Finley, Moira Popperling, Rosie Kelly, and Margaret Ganter, who have done an incredible job. This morning I was actually down there helping them get set up. So just as we're doing today with sticky notes, so is the lower school. We decided that it would be nice to have the 2 schools have the same theme, so they are also celebrating Make Someone Happy Monday. And today they're putting up sticky notes. Tomorrow, we are also doing Take Care of the Earth Tuesday, but they're partnering with the Lower School Environmental Club and Mrs. Carrick. On Wednesday, we decided that it would be nice for the primary to do Wear Your Hero Cape, which is a theme that we've loved. So kind acts equal being a hero. And on Thursday, with teamwork, they are doing their blue and white teams, which is very similar to our societies we have here at the upper school. They will be competing for points and having different activities that Margaret has put together for them. And finally, Friday, since we have no theme up here, we decided to go with TLC, otherwise known as Tender Love and Care, for the lower school, but it's not just for others, it's for yourself. Along with this, our Junior Blue Key at the lower school have been incredible ambassadors, and they're serving as our student leaders down there, just as our execs are up here this week. And finally, our staff help down at the lower school is Mrs. Mackestead and Mrs. Scullion, who have been absolutely wonderful. So if you ever see them, please be sure to tell them thank you, and thank you guys.
Awesome. Thank you all very much. Just to clarify very quickly, they mentioned it, but I just want to say it again. This is the only full dress down day of the week. There are other pieces that are going on, but this is the only full dress down day. So please pay attention to the details and guidelines for those other days as they come up. Also, as a reminder, even though today is a dress down day, the rules of no exposed midriffs, backs, chests, those still apply. even on dress down days, just like in the regular dress code, they still apply now, so please keep those in mind. 2 other quick reminders. The first is that if you are going off campus, you should be traveling in groups of more than 1. At least 2 students should be going at a time, obviously following the guidelines that exist about when and where you can go off campus. The fact that you cannot go in a car, please keep all that in mind, and also that you should be filling out a near campus pass in Aura as you are doing that. And when it comes to spaces on campus, you should only be in spaces where adults are present. If you are going into a space and do not see an adult there, that is a good sign that you should not be there. So seek out an adult or head somewhere else. We cannot have people in unattended spaces. With that, I'm going to bring up our alumni speaker. This is a tradition that we've done for a while now to try and bring somebody back who has come to Wyoming Seminary and gone on to do very interesting things that we think would be great for you to hear about during one of these assemblies. Our speaker today was a 1999 graduate of Wyoming Seminary and is currently the president at Oatly. And if you are unfamiliar, my personal familiarity was with what I think is one of the greatest Super Bowl commercials of all time. That's what got me interested in Oatly. It is a part of his presentation today, so we can all enjoy in that together. But I'll get out of the way so that he can share everything else and turn things over to Mike Messersmith.
Cool. Yep. Hi, everyone. This is a little bit surreal for me, I have to say, being asked to come back to seminary as an alumni speaker. Before I get into my presentation, I have to first recognize my special guest. So I'm a special guest, but also my mom asked if she could come with me today. So my mom, Lucy, is sitting right there. Please give her a round of applause. I'm going to embarrass her terribly. She is a 2-time Wyoming Seminary mom, both for myself and my sister Megan, who was class of like 2008, I want to say. And she told me last night that she last came to an assembly close to like 24 years ago when I was a senior in high school, and I like talked about sports and programs and those sorts of things through a role in student government. So I was like, well, you have to come back for today and hear me talk about oat milk and life and all those sorts of things. So I appreciate my mom being here. It's a very special thing. This I put together, I don't know if alumni speakers, I'm going to talk a little bit about things I've done with my career. Maybe parts of it are interesting. Maybe some of it is not, and you just get to sit there and enjoy it for a few minutes. So we'll see how this goes. First, my slides are pretty simple. I graduated from SEM in 1999. I found one of my report cards recently. That was pretty cool. I started at SEM in 9th grade. I lived in Dallas. My parents still live in Dallas growing up. And so came to SEM in 9th grade at start of upper school. And a couple reflections on SEM. First off, if you can see names on this from my report card when I was here in 1999, you know that like I feel kind of old. So those teachers are quite old now. Not to call them out too pointedly. One other note I would say on this, and I tried not to include like my grades. I don't even know if this is what your report cards look like today. But one thing of note is I took AP Environmental Science in the first year that it was offered at Wyoming Seminary with Dr. Nerosi. And you'll note that I had a midterm effort grade of 3 in that. My mom was recalling for me this morning that she went in for parent-teacher conferences, and Dr. Nerosi, who is an incredible scientist, teacher, passionate about the topic, confided in my mom that I, as a senior in high school, may not have been as into the subject as she would have liked. She was like, could Michael give a little bit more in this class? She's like, he probably could, but I'm not sure that that's going to happen at this point in his career. She's like, I think he could do a little bit more here. But as it turns out, sometimes you get a midterm 3 effort grade your senior year in high school in environmental science, and you go on to run a plant-based milk company 25 years into the future. So you never know how things turn out. This was very exciting to see. Looking back, again, I was very proud of my passing grade in my PE independent study. Put a ton of work into that. And my career at SEM, like I just have to tell y'all that there's never been a time in my life that I carried a backpack that was heavier I think, there's times when I feel like having like a 70-pound LL Bean backpack prepares you for life, trucking that thing around. And then, my kind of choices in high school were less sports, more like school and Model UN and drama and orchestra. So I started playing the tuba in 9th grade. I was the only tuba player, maybe still in Wyoming Seminary history. I don't know, maybe there's a tuba player here today. If not, shout out to them. But that's the instrument they give you when you show up to 9th grade, like 5'4", 200 pounds. Like they give you a nice hefty instrument because they think that you can carry it around and have the lung capacity for things. But I worked harder at SEM in my 4 years than I ever worked at any other school. They talk about it, Wyoming Seminary College Preparatory School. Like, I worked harder at SEM than I did in college because the classes were tougher, the teachers pushed me more, and that enabled me to explore all sorts of other things in college. But I will tell you, like, that experience at SEM, including my 10th grade U.S. history class with Mr. Granger, was, he's really old too. Sorry, I know it's tough. He did catch it astray over there. He didn't think I was coming. It was the best experience academically in my entire life. It's the best 4 years. It goes by so fast. I work with one of my seminary classmates today in my job, a fellow 1999 person, and he showed my high school yearbook photo in an entire company meeting, and I had to fire him 5 minutes later. Seminary class of 99. It's incredible to be back. It was the hardest I ever worked in school, and just an incredible 4 years of your life. So what did I do after that? Look at that fresh face. I was 20 years old when that photo was taken. So I came to SEM on a partial merit scholarship that helped me kind of go from public school to SEM. And then when I was a senior in high school, I was trying to figure out, like, where do I go to college? How do I pay for college? What's that going to be like? And so I was fortunate enough. I came from a family where service and military service was really valued. My father was in the Navy. Both my grandparents were in the Navy and the Coast Guard, respectively. And so I did an ROTC scholarship program when I was a senior. I applied for that when I was a senior in high school. I got accepted to that. I had classmates that went the route of going to the Naval Academy, to West Point. That's incredible. The ROTC program is something that you can apply for, and you can go to a regular public or private university, Penn State, Notre Dame, lots of schools, and the government still pays for all of it. And so for me, it was an incredible sense of accomplishment and pride that I was able to work hard, get that scholarship, and pay for college on my own. So I ended up going to Duke for 4 years. We won a national championship in basketball when I was there. That was pretty sweet. And gave me a chance, as I graduated from Duke, to kind of already have a job, which was as an officer in the United States Navy for 5 years. And so that's a picture of me when I was a junior in college with all those ribbons and a little star and a very big smile, as you can tell. But then the 5 years in the Navy, just a couple pieces on military service, because I know, a lot of you all are thinking about what could you do with the future. Maybe that's in the cards, maybe it's not. But I will tell you that that experience from a leadership and communication standpoint was the absolute best thing that I've ever done. It's the thing I'm most proudest of in my entire career. So I did multiple deployments overseas, stressful, strenuous, challenging things. But the most important things I took away from it, one, were there's very few times, actually seminary is kind of one of them too, where you get to work with people that are really different than you. My time in the military was one where I really kind of reflected honestly on the privilege that I have of being able to go to a great school like this, being able to grow up in the environment that I did. And then you go to the military and you're working with people from all over the place, first generation Americans, people that didn't even graduate from high school, people from different motivation levels. Like, you see what that's like of actually having to solve tough problems under strenuous circumstances with people that are really different from you, and how that evolves your communication and leadership style. It allows you to have the confidence that you can go do anything. Furthermore, I would say my time in the Navy, I think that piece, it really helps you grow up a lot and helps you find authenticity in your leadership would be one thing. when I first got commissioned, I go to my first boat. You watch a lot of movies about the military, and you think you're supposed to like stomp your feet and yell, and you watch like A Few Good Men or other military movies. You think it's supposed to be really like tough. And to be clear, I didn't fight terrorism with like push-ups and guns. I fought it with like a calculator and a pencil, like very dorky, nerdy things. But you think that it's supposed to be really intense, right? And you're supposed to yell and scream because you see people do that in movies. And in my entire first tour, I'm trying to motivate my team. Things aren't going well. I'm yelling. I'm clenching my fists. And I had a very senior partner tell me, he's like, "Sir, that's not your style. Like, that's not you. Like, you have to find being yourself is so important. And that element of your authentic self when you're trying to lead groups, and authenticity in leadership is so key." And so I was like, I really reflected on that. And my second ship I went to, didn't yell once. You can still convey a message just being super level and calm. Like, I am a inherently optimistic, very open, positive person. And when you let that shine through in your leadership style, or whatever your vibe is in that, trying to be somebody you're not and wear that every day, it just doesn't work. And it doesn't work for you. I was stressed about it, and it was also ineffective. And so that time in the military really taught me about authenticity in leadership. And I think that it really, since then, didn't yell about aircraft carriers, and I don't yell about oat milk, and you just solve problems and trying to be authentic in that. The last piece I would tell you, and this kind of ties a little bit to what I'm going to talk about with oat milk, is about growth. Where do you actually find personal and professional growth? And to be honest, sometimes in my life, school has been, things come easy. I don't know, maybe you're an athlete and things are super easy for you when you do that. It just comes naturally, right? Sometimes in school, you're like, this is easy. I don't have to work that hard on this thing. But you're also not growing at all when you're in easy circumstances. And to be honest, for most of my life, school was not I worked hard, but it also wasn't the hardest part, I gotta be honest. And then I found myself in a circumstance in the Navy where, again, I went to Duke and I was a history and elementary education major, which meant I really liked reading books. I started that. And probably grounded in my history classes here at seminary, US history, seminar, AP Euro. But it didn't stretch me super hard. But I have this picture of an aircraft carrier on here. So this is the USS Dwight D. Eisenhower. There's 2 nuclear reactors on board aircraft carriers that are run by men and women who have undergone basically a 1-year intensive nuclear physics grad school program, the most intense scientific technical class that you could ever be in. And again, remember, I was the one that got the 3 in AP Environmental Science back when I was a senior. Didn't really see myself as a super technical person, but my senior year at Duke, they came around and they were trying to figure out what you're gonna do with your career. I took a test, and I did really well on it, and they said, well, you should work in nuclear power. I said, that's great. They said, we'll give you $10,000 if you'll do it. I was like, I'm the richest human that's ever lived. I was like, yes. Give me all that money. I will take it all. I think I spent it in about 3 months. But that also is when you learn that there's no such thing as free lunch. You pay, you're gonna pay one way or the other. And so I did a 1-year nuclear physics grad school program when I was in the Navy to qualify me to work on that ship, the USS Dwight D. Eisenhower. And I showed up the first day, and they made you take a screening test, how's everybody doing? What do you know about calculus, physics, all these things? And they're like, we're just trying to get a sense of where you're at. So I answered the questions honestly. I think I got 2 out of 50 correct. They pulled me into the office and they said, literally, this is the worst score we've ever seen. We think you're definitely gonna, did you do that on purpose? And I was like, no, I didn't do it on purpose. They're like, we think you're definitely gonna fail this program. And I had never been told that, I'm kind of a try-hard, overachiever person. I had never been told that I was gonna fail anything in my entire life before. And that hit me like cold water. And I was like, well, I haven't been taught anything yet, so if you teach it to me, I promise I'll work my butt off and I'll do my best and I'll try to do it. And so they're like, well, that's nice. We still don't think you're going to be able to, but we'll give you a shot because you're already here. And they put me on this study program where I had to stay in the building from 8 a.m. until 10 p.m. at night every day, studying math equations and physics and thermodynamics and mechanical engineering. It was brutal. It was the hardest I worked in my entire life. And I finished 6th out of 54 people because I worked my butt off and like I learned it. And I'll tell you, like, that part, to get back to the original point, was that proved to me that I could, like, if I work hard, like, I can do it. Like, I can figure it out. I carried that forward the rest of my life. And like, for you all, like, when you put yourself in outside those comfort zones, in those circumstances where you're actually having to stretch, like, where it actually is hard, and like, I didn't do anything else in those 6-8 months besides study. I didn't watch TV, I didn't watch sports, I didn't go out, I didn't do anything but study, and it was miserable. But I also did it, and I really needed to do it because they told me I couldn't, and that is an incredibly motivating thing. And so from those things of intense, actual, it wasn't comfortable for me at all doing that. Like, I would have preferred to have a much easier job, like going out, watching, Sixers games, whatever, and like, I didn't do any of that. And I sacrificed, and it really paid off. And I'll tell you, like, that piece for you of like, you actually only find true, I would tell you, personal, professional growth in moments of discomfort. And that proved that to me when I was in the Navy. So enough on my military service. So let's get to oat milk. So this is, I decided after my obligation was done in the military that I didn't want to be a sea captain for a living. So I got out and I went to business school to learn how to do something different and apply my skills. And that led me through a series of roles, big companies, small companies, to a job with a startup oat milk company, where when I joined, I again called my mom and I said, "Mom, I have this great new role. I'm the president of an oat milk company." And she's like, "Well, that's wonderful, like oatmeal. Your father loves oatmeal. That's great." It's like, "Nope, not oatmeal, not Oakley sunglasses, not goat milk, oat milk." And she's like, "I've never heard of that. Do you think it's gonna work?" I was like, "I don't know, we'll see." So I joined this company 6 years ago. There were 2 of us when I started. We sell plant-based milk and dairy products that are made out of oats. It was truly a startup. We didn't have an office, a phone, or a computer when I started. We had the product in 5 coffee shops in New York City. If I worked hard in like an afternoon, I could visit all of them when I started. And we've built it since then. So I want to talk about why this was a great fit for me and kind of what we've done. And also going to show some more ads, which are fun too. So the whole idea of Oatly, and this is what really drew me, is I found in my career, like, there's lots of kind of just jobs that you could have. But as I've progressed on, like, you try to find roles that actually are an intersection of the work you love to do and what you might be talented in and where your mission and values really intersect. Otherwise, it really is pretty hollow. And when it's tough, you kind of find ways to bail, right? And so if you can find something that is an intersection of what you love, what you're good at, and where your mission and value, like where your heart aligns, that's when you can really feel like, wow, I love this. Like, I could do this all day. It doesn't feel like a job to me. And that's a very personal question. Like, for me, the intersection of being able to like run a food business, which is like nerdy and all these things, which I like, and the topic of sustainability and climate change, which is very near and dear to my heart, and I think a very important topic for so many of you here, like finding a job where I could intersect the 2 of those, I didn't know those existed. And so Oatly was an idea built on the idea of change, that the food system that we operate in, what we eat, how we consume things, when you go to the grocery store, what it looks like, if we're gonna go forward, like, that is going to change, like, in your lifetimes, in the next 20, 30 years, how we eat, what we eat, how we shop, those things are gonna dramatically change, not necessarily because we want to, but because they have to. And like, I have a little bit of data to kind of back that up. So again, remember, first AP Environmental Science class, redeeming myself here with some sustainability data for y'all. So let's just look at this quick. So animal-based food production creates more carbon emissions than all transportation combined globally. So when you think about the topic of climate change and global warming, I mean, y'all have great recycling programs on campus. That's really important. People shifting to electric vehicles and thinking about carbon emissions in their car. Yeah, that's important. But the food industry, particularly the animal-based food industry, contributes more to carbon emissions and global warming than all of the cars, all of the trucks, all of the airplanes. Like, that is massive. And that's really like the impetus for what needs to change there. And if you look at the current rate, 2020 to 2050, okay? The composition of CO2 emissions. Furthermore, the land usage, the amount of just like physical space on the globe that needs to be consumed to support the animal-based food consumption in the world is gonna be close to 50% of the land. That's wild, all the land. The fresh water usage that goes to support the animal-based food industry, close to 84% in the next 30 years by the time that y'all are like my age, which is crazy. And that's to support a growing world population. And so simply put, as constructed, and like, I'm not saying change is easy. I just talked about change being a thing that like, you know, growth and all those pieces. Change is super hard. I don't like to change my habits. I don't like to change the way I eat. I don't like to change the things I love. But I tell you, like, it's going to happen because this is unsustainable, even beyond you get to the elements of global warming and climate change and all those other pieces. The contribution of the animal-based food industry is a big driver for that. And so Oatly, we make something called oat milk. It is a beige like liquid made out of oats. We put it in a carton. And what really drew me, I mean, we're a 30-year-old Swedish company. Our founder, our scientists, who were looking at the effects of lactose intolerance, the intersection of lactose intolerance and global warming. And so the dairy industry is as big in Sweden as it is in the United States. Swedish people are like impossibly cool. They know about everything that's, you know, cool and interesting like 30 years before we find it in the United States. And so they were looking at, boy, more than half the world's population has lactose intolerance, lactose allergies, lactose sensitivities, and the dairy industry disproportionately contributes to climate change and global warming. Like, there has to be a different way. Like, our company wasn't founded by a bunch of Shark Tank people, bankers, consultants sitting in a room trying to figure out money. Like, they were founded by scientists looking to solve a problem that isn't just a Swedish problem. It's not just a Kingston, Pennsylvania problem. The effects of climate and global warming are a borderless global problem. And so we invented, the smart scientists, not me, but we have very, very smart scientists that invented a way that, like, if you wouldn't start a cow's milk company today in 2022. If you had to start this over again, what would you do? And so we tried to find a grain, an agricultural product that you could grow in abundance, had great nutritional benefits, and then we invented a manufacturing process to turn it into milk and ice cream and yogurt. We're trying to make cheese, all those sorts of things. And so we grew and grew and grew as a Swedish company. And then you can't be serious about this issue of climate change and global warming and then just stay in a small Nordic country. You have to move to the United States. We had to launch the product in China. And so they hired me in 2017 to build the business. And for me, like, I love the product, and the idea, more importantly, was incredibly compelling because you want to find those intersections of, again, the passion, the capability, the talent that you have, and then where does that align to where your heart is on a mission standpoint. And so we've grown a ton since then. Like I said, there were 2 of us in like 5 coffee shops. We worked really, really hard at the beginning. Today we have close to 400 people in the United States in our business. We've opened 3 factories, sold hundreds of millions of liters of oat milk. And if that didn't do a good enough job introducing it, I'll play our Super Bowl ad that we did last Super Bowl, which I apologize in advance because it's a total earworm and it's gonna like stay in your brain all day. And I just am really sorry for this, but it has to be done.
It's like milk made for humans. It's like milk but made for humans. Wow, wow, no cow. No, no, no. Wow, wow, no cow. No, no, no. Wow, wow.
Yep, that's it. We did it. Oh, we'll play it again for you. That's cruel. That's our CEO, Tony Peterson. He's Swedish. He wrote that song himself, if you couldn't tell. They wrote a song for him, and he showed up and he sang that instead. This was in the, you think about a Super Bowl ad, like when that ad played, and like other brands had like Drake and like The Weeknd and Mariah Carey, and we had our Swedish CEO, who has a SoundCloud himself. He was pretty proud of it, playing that song that he wrote, and people were like, "I hate his voice." We're like, "Yeah, we know. It's really bad." But you remembered it, right? Like it was voted by USA Today the worst Super Bowl commercial of 2021. And we're like, yeah, but you noticed it, didn't you? Like, that's the point. So many of those ads, like, are completely invisible. Like, you sit through it, doesn't make an impression. You may not have liked his voice, but at least you remembered the ad, which was kind of the idea. So he sang that song like 6 years ago, and we put it in the Super Bowl a year ago. And if you go to YouTube and you think I'm being mean to him, which I've said all those things to his face before, you should see his YouTube comments. It is as a global brand, one thing that people can't agree on anything today, but they can agree that they hate his voice and they hate that song a lot. So we probably are going to play it again in another Super Bowl. And so how do you get people to change? Like I said, like we sometimes, there's this issue, right? On like the food system needs to change. We have to shift away from animal-based products. Like how do you get them to do that, right? And we have this like, it's a very good product, but fundamentally it's not like we don't sell Teslas. It's not like a sexy product. Like it's beige oat milk, And so how do we get them to do that? And a lot of times, we have a very, rigorous science team that would say, well, tell them all the features and benefits, sell them on the science, and really like the two ways that we get people to change is one, like very different advertising stuff to get people to know us and like use billboards in a really different way. So like this was in London and just doing like a 30-foot ad that says, go ahead and pretend not to notice. We know you're reading this anyway. That makes people like stop and take notice and they take out their phone and they look up what this weird oat milk is. The other way you get people to try something, and again, I feel like entrepreneurship, there's no age barrier on any of those things. You all have ideas of stuff you want to go build or do. The number one question that we asked about Oatly that I would think about if I was starting a business is how does anyone know this exists? How does anyone try it for the first time? Because if I'm trying to get people to change the behavior, like I can't, like a lot of companies use coupons or nice little ladies with Dixie cups at the end of the aisle at the grocery store. Like for us, we leaned heavily into coffee shops because we have an oat milk that will foam like cow's milk. And so for lattes or cappuccinos or cortados, rather than the company telling you that we make a great product, because who really trusts companies? Like I hate being sold to. I don't believe anything a company tells me. But if I go to a coffee shop and I hear somebody in front of me in line ordering it, or I hear the barista that I see every Saturday when I go in says, this is really good, you should try it, that's really different. And then people try it for themselves and they're like, wow, no cow, kind of. Like that tastes pretty good. Like I don't miss the cow's milk. And then we're on to something with like not necessarily transitioning to being a full vegan, but making small changes in your diet. And I think that for each of you, like, that piece of being able to make small, meaningful changes in your diet. And again, here's another one, a bench ad that says, please, absolutely don't sit on this bench. We're trying to use it to sell our oat milk. And this person was very considerate of standing next to the bench, which we like that one a lot. So that piece of making those small, meaningful changes in your diet is how you get started on those things. But also maybe it's not just enough for you. So I have one more ad to show you. We played this in the United Kingdom last year, which was kind of about the idea of, which maybe some of you all can relate to, of being a teenager or being someone who's young and trying to get their parents to maybe think differently about climate change or about their diet and dairy. So let's see about this one.
Hey, how's things?
Yeah, not too bad.
Things still crazy at home?
Afraid so, yeah. He has it in his tea. It's coffee, muesli. The other day I caught him drinking from the carton.
How old is he now?
55.
Oh, God knows, that's a difficult age.
Yeah.
So we actually came up with resources that people could use to talk to their parents about their dairy consumption, that people could download on their phone and on the internet, because it's sometimes a difficult conversation to have, I thought that one did a good job of capturing the disappointment there. A few related kind of oat milk observations just in closing, and I'll let y'all go. One, I talked about this before. I had the privilege of talking to one of the science STEM programs here a few months ago, and what I think is really interesting is you may have personal passions in your life. Maybe it's climate change, maybe it's animal welfare, maybe any sort of topics, health and wellness, all those sorts of pieces. And you're yeah, but I don't know, I'm not going to necessarily be a scientist. How do I find something that's a job or a career, but also allows me to tap into those passions? And I would say with Oatly, we have artists and accountants and social media community managers, all that are able to be passionate about climate change and have the work that they're great at intersect with that mission. And so you can find and that's really where when I see my team, people that are thriving, that are killing it, that love their job, finding that thing that you're this is what I love regardless of my work, and then finding a way where you find the thing that you're good at, that you I am great at math, I'm gonna be a finance accounting person, I am the most artistic person ever, I'm gonna be a copywriter, an art designer, a graphic designer. You can do that and be able to deliver on a mission thing. It doesn't just have to mean you do that and then you go work at some widget factory. Finding that intersection is truly where you have the unlock of passion. And for me at Oatly, I love this job. It's the best job I've ever had. It doesn't feel like work to me because I believe in what we're doing, and the hard work feels like it's towards something that I believe in and I think is important. Secondly, I would tell you, in building a team and career, and I don't know if there's a controversial opinion or not, especially because, again, college preparatory school and degrees, but when I hire people, and I've had the chance now to hire close to 300 people at our company, I honestly don't look at where they went to college. I don't look at what their GPA is. I definitely don't ask what their SAT or PSAT scores are. I don't care about any of that. I care about what they've done, how they treat, the references that they have. And so wherever you end up, whether it's the highest high of the Ivy League or something that's different or not college right away at all, I don't even know. There's all sorts of paths on that to still do anything you want. Now, working hard puts you in sometimes those opportunities and circumstances to be able to have those interactions and achieve that. But for me, and this is kind of stupid, how we build our company, how I've succeeded in every role that I've had is all referral based. Every job I've ever gotten has been because somebody I worked with before, who I worked really well with, for, around, they told somebody else that I would be great for something. right? And that means, like, if you treat people well, I mean, it's like a basic, like literally like third grade thing of golden rule. Like, how would you like to be treated in those things? Like treating people well, working your butt off. Like none of the degrees, none of the prestige of any of those things, cum laude, SAT scores, none of it matters if you don't treat people well and you work your butt off on stuff. And that can overcome all of it, I would tell you. And so hopefully that's helpful. And lastly, again, similar to my time in the Navy, like Oatly, like we started from nothing. It's a lot more now. It's important, like we have to keep going. But that actual, like for me, personal and professional growth comes from those moments of being uncomfortable. Like if you're training for something, if you want to get better at something, you're not going to actually achieve it by being in a very basic, like comfortable spot. Like you can't run a marathon if you don't embrace, and I'm not running a marathon anytime soon either, but like as an example, you can't do that if you're not willing to push yourself out of that comfort zone, to embrace the discomfort, and that sucks sometimes when you're in it, right? You're like, why am I doing this? But that's actually where the growth comes from. And I saw that in the military. I've seen it at Oatly, and I promise that it's worth it when you actually look back and see where you come from. So hopefully that was a little bit of a blend of SEM, early career stuff, and then sustainability in food and entrepreneurship. And I guess, I don't know if we're like right at time, but we can do questions and stuff too. Thank you. That's all I have. Whatever you want. Yeah, if anybody has them.
First out, we do have a little time for questions if you guys have any, so I'll let you mull on that for a little bit as I share two quick things. First off, what an appropriate day to have Meatless Monday for our meal in the dining hall today. That's very well timed. And also, Dr. Norozi is not here right now, but she texted me and she said, I am out today. Tell Mike that I will up his effort grade to a 4. So. Making progress. So, are there any questions that anybody has? Feel free to be brave and be the first to raise your hand. Yeah, Mr. Riss.
Yeah, I just want to know where I can get some Oatly. Yeah.
Here, I'll get out of the way.
It's a great question. I didn't close the sale. That was like Entrepreneurship 101. We sell Oatly now we're in Starbucks nationwide. The thing is, I make as much oat milk as I possibly can, and people buy all of it all the time. We're in Wegmans, Target, Walmart. The big achievement for me was when I was in Weiss Markets for a little bit in Dallas, and my mom said that she could find it. And then I think they delisted it for a little bit because we couldn't keep them in stock. So it's now my personal goal to get us back into Weiss Markets in Dallas. But Starbucks, Wegmans, Target, we sell ice cream now too. The ice cream is delicious. I can't emphasize it enough. So if you're looking for something tasty, non-dairy, thank you for that question. Yeah, oh yeah, also, that was a great call. We also, you're trying to get people to how do you get people to think differently about plant-based foods? Because a lot of times you're like, ugh, non-dairy, vegan, I bet it's gonna be gross. I don't think I'd like that. So for us, we want it to taste great. And we developed, again, I'm incredibly biased, but the world's best non-dairy soft serve ice cream. And so now we're the official soft serve of the New York Yankees, which is not a team I like, but is still an interesting thing for me. I'm willing to embrace that. We're the official soft serve of the Chicago Cubs. So this summer, if you ever have occasion with your family or friends or whatever to go to a baseball game, that for me was a dream of going to a ball game with your family or whatever, and those little sundae cones, those little helmets, and you have something that's vegan, non-dairy, and you're like, it's great. I don't miss the other one. And then it changes your whole perception on what's possible with plant-based foods. Did you have a question? Yeah. Yeah, the Super Bowl ads are obscenely expensive. So that ad, to run it for 30 seconds in the Super Bowl, cost $5.5 million. But the good news was, I didn't also spend $5.5 million to have Drake sing that song. We had our CEO do it, and we recorded it 6 years ago in Sweden. And so the production cost was zero. Well, it wasn't zero, it was basically zero. And then we spent $5.5 million to run it during the game. Yeah. I think that for us, so we were a really small company. So the question was the $5.5 million worth it? And so two things that really helped with that. The other brands that are advertising the Super Bowl are like Budweiser, Doritos, Audi, Volkswagen, whatever, right? Like we were this really small oat milk company that nobody had ever heard of. And so it was really helpful for us to try to break through and do something that was a little bit different to get on people's radar. We still sold all the oat milk we can make, so I didn't necessarily see it in sales, but in terms of the social media reaction, we sold shirts that said, "I totally hated that Oatly ad," and they sold out in 10 minutes, so that was a plus. Yeah. What's that? What did I do to scale a company? So, we, again, started with coffee shops. Like, it really was one-to-one, and this could maybe be a longer conversation. If anybody's interested, I'm gonna try to go to lunch after this or something. If anybody wants to hear about this now, in the future, we can talk about scaling entrepreneurial stuff. For us, it was the get into these coffee shops was like our trial mechanism. How does someone ever discover it, right? And then we saw it really working, where they were ordering more and more. And so we picked also the right shops. So if you think about where trends begin, like fashion, or in this case, oat milk, like you don't necessarily go to like the most basic places first. You go to the most influential handful of places, and when it works there, then like word of mouth starts some inertia to get it flowing downhill. And so we went from like 5 coffee shops to 15 to 30, and we expanded a bunch of markets. And then once I saw that like people were going into coffee shops, buying it over the counter, like they were paying baristas $5, $10 a carton to take it home, we were like, okay, now we have to put it in grocery stores. And all of that happened even, thankfully, it happened faster than we imagined. Now you have this cycle where people try it in coffee shops, like Starbucks and Blue Bottle, a lot of maybe heard some places. And then when they go to the grocery store, there's a lower barrier of trial for them to be like, $5 for a carton of oat milk, like I've heard of that. I'll go ahead and buy that. So we did that, and then the pie just expands really fast, and then you hire the right people around you that are passionate and really good at what they do, and let them go kick it. Yeah.
How important was the PR relations department to your guys?
Yeah, so the question was how important was PR, earned media, press stuff? To be honest, we've never hired a PR agency. I have one really good person who works in communications. What we found was I had reporters who heard about Oatly from coffee shops discover it like that, and they emailed just into our info@Oatly inbox, and then we got a New York Times feature within the first 6 months after launching in the US, just because the reporter discovered it in a coffee shop. So we weren't pitching, I didn't spend millions of dollars on a PR agency. We tried to do the business, and that, if you do that right and you put it in the right places, it attracts that attention. That's your question. Yeah?
Do you plan on making
Plan on making more products? Yeah, so the question was, do we plan on making more expansive products in the portfolio? Yes, absolutely. So again, the company's been around in Sweden for 30 years. So we've been working on these things for a while. They're all gonna have oats in them. It's in the name of the company, so to change that now would be awkward. So I can't go do things with cashew or soy or anything like that. We also think oats happen to be the best. But in the US, we've done milks, we've done ice creams, including pints, ice cream bars, soft serve. We just launched yogurts, which are really tasty. The next phase is whipped cream, vegan, non-dairy whipped cream. People eat a ton of whipped cream, and that's a lot of cow's milk. And the holy grail in non-dairy vegan food is cheese. So cheese is really, really hard from a science standpoint. The casein, the fat systems. When the company that nails a vegan cheese is gonna do really well. So we're working on that too, but we'll see. Yeah.
I just want to know, now that you love your job, what are you going to do that makes you uncomfortable so you keep growing?
Yeah. Ooh, dang, that's a really, the question was, now that I already love my job and I pressed through all the discomfort, how am I going to continue to grow? Boy, that's like a therapy session. The interesting thing about our company is it feels like I've been at like 10 companies in 5 years, 5, 6 years. It keeps reinventing itself with like similar but different challenges. And so I think for me, it's much more about a mindset of embracing discomfort than it is like seeking specific, because if you're open to it, those things tend to find you, or you're like risk, discomfort averse, and you steer like your ship away from those things because you don't like it. And it's okay, like you don't have to go through your life perpetually seeking growth stuff. Like there's times and seasons to everything, I think, but also like when you are ready for those things, it can be a really special thing, but not to discount how challenging it can be while you're in it. Yeah?
There's this stigma about not necessarily your product, but people that buy it. Do you try to overcome that, or do you embrace it?
Meaning like people that buy oat milk are like hipster, hippie, like that sort of stuff? Yeah. So like we believe oat milk can be for everybody. Like I think that one of the ways we do that, and you know, we didn't show it in these ads. We did this campaign called Post Milk Generation, where we filmed people in a retirement home, like enjoying oat milk and talking about what oat milk was like back when they were kids, and you know that it like so you got to break down. I think a big part is in people's minds. Sometimes they're like, like vegan, plant-based, like that's just for like weirdo hipsters in Brooklyn or like 17-year-olds or whatever. But like it can be for anybody. Like and there's so many people that like need dairy-free products in their life because of allergens or like kiddos, all those sorts of pieces. And so the more that we're able to show the fact that like you can be both like into hunting and fishing and like from Kentucky and also love oat milk, and also you can be like a mom of 6 and love oat milk, and you can be you know, a 75-year-old retiree and love oat milk. Like it breaks down that barrier, I think, and it's true. We see that. But I agree with you. That can sometimes be a barrier for adoption for people looking to get into that.
All right. I hate to have to do it, but we do have to stop the questions because we're out of time. How about another round of applause for Mike Messersmith for coming in today? As he mentioned, he's going to hang out for a little while longer, so you can try and grab him to ask your questions here or maybe over in the dining hall. But with that, you all are dismissed. Thank you very much.